Hi guys, it's your friendly neighborhood headbanger Terry, and I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, because as always, I'm just going to assume you did. It is the video that hopefully you guys have been waiting for. I did a survey or a poll, I guess, on Facebook, and I said, would you rather hear coffee trivia or would you rather me do a Bath and Body Works show and tell? Now, coffee trivia won that, but I will be doing a Bath and Body Works show and tell for those of you who voted for that. So fear not, that is coming. However, tonight is all about coffee trivia. And as always, I have a cup of coffee with me. I want to point your attention to this one. This is the new, see if I can turn it around here without making a mess. It is the new Starbucks holiday mug. They did one in red and they did one in navy blue. I think the navy blue is a limited edition or something. But I like the red. It's all Christmassy and I think it's kind of bright and festive. So I want to thank my friends H and S who made this mug possible for me for Christmas. So thank you guys. Alrighty. I have not 5, not 10, not 20, but 30 trivia facts, or trivial facts, I guess I should say, about coffee. But in order to read them, I have to put the old lady glasses on. So, there you go. It makes me look really intelligent, doesn't it? Let's just go with that. That's better than old. Okay, coffee trivia number 1. Most coffee, although you hear about Colombian coffee all the time, does not come from Colombia. It comes from Brazil. About 30 to 40% of the coffee that we import is from Brazil. Cool. There are 2 states, this is number 2. Number 2, there are 2 states that grow coffee in the United States. I bet you know one of them. One of them is Hawaii, and that's pretty well known because of Kona coffee. I've actually had Kona. It's pretty good. Kind of strong, but it is pretty good. But recently, California has been getting into the coffee game, and so some coffee is grown in California, not as much as in Hawaii. And if you're just speaking about territories that the United States owns that belong to the United States, Puerto Rico grows coffee as well. Not technically a state, so it's not included in the state statistics, but it does grow coffee. I'd love to have some Puerto Rican coffee. I bet that'd be really good. Okay. Number 3, rather. Coffee is a fruit. It is literally a fruit because it has a berry. And the bean is taken, the coffee bean is taken out of the berry. It's kind of like a pit in a prune. So the beans are actually the seeds of the berry. And interestingly enough, you can eat the berry, and weirdly enough, you can make a wine out of it. So you could have coffee berry wine, which would just be the weirdest thing ever. One of the world's, this is number 4, one of the world's most expensive coffees comes from civet, I hope I'm saying that right, civet poop. Yes. Civet is a little cat-like, almost a cross between a weasel and a cat looking like animal. And they give it the berries. It eats the berries, but it cannot digest the beans. So the beans come out in its feces. And they take the beans and clean them really well, I hope. They clean them off, and they actually grind it up into coffee, and they sell it. And it has a less acidic taste than other coffees, probably because of the whole digestive system thing going on. And it has kind of a nutty flavor, and I know this because I have a friend that sent me some. The actual name of it is Kopi Luwak. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's what the actual coffee after it's ground up is called. And it's actually pretty good. It's pretty mellow. It has kind of a nutty flavor, and I just try to ignore the fact that it came, from poop of an animal. But it actually is pretty good, and here's the kicker. It costs about $600 a pound. No lie. It's a really expensive coffee. So if you want a really expensive coffee and you're not concerned with the fact that it came out of, was picked out of poop, then there you go. All right, number 5. Coffee dates back to somewhere around 800 AD. There is a legend, and I don't know how true this is. I saw it in several places when I was doing research on this. There is a legend that in Ethiopia, goat herders noticed that when their goats ate the berries from this plant, from the coffee plant, that they got really, really hyper and danced around, and they had a lot of energy. And so that was when it was discovered that the coffee berries did something to, perk up energy. Another legend says that a monk made the first cup of coffee, uh, brewing the berries, and found out that it kept him up all night. So at that point, they started just being able to pick the bean out of the berry, crushing the bean up and putting it in with boiling water and making coffee. So I don't know how true either of those legends is, but we do know that coffee does date back to, the first millennium, and which is kind of cool. All right, number 6. There are two main kinds of coffee, or two main species, if you will, of coffee. There is Arabica and Robusta. Robusta. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. Robusta, I believe. Most growers grow Arabica because it is less bitter, and it actually has less caffeine, and it seems to appeal more to the masses taste-wise. So most of it is Arabica, but you can get the other if you prefer a fuller, maybe stronger, more bitter taste. All right, number 7. In the 16th century, Italian priest tried to ban coffee, and that was because they considered coffee to be Muslim, because it was drunk in a lot of Muslim countries, and therefore it was satanic. That's not me saying that. That is the Catholic priest in the 16th century. However, in 1600, Pope Clement VII lifted that ban. He was like, okay, no, I'm sorry. A liquid cannot be satanic. And there is a legend, I don't know what the truth is to this, that he lifted the ban and he baptized coffee. I don't even know how you would do that. But yeah, I guess you would put the holy water in the coffee. I don't know. So yeah, maybe you can feel better knowing that coffee is not really a vice. It's been blessed by a pope. So there you go. I'm going to drink my holy coffee. All right. Number 8. The best time to drink coffee is between 2 and 3 p.m. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I know I did when I was working long days, that between about 2 and 3, I would get kind of draggy and kind of blood. Your blood sugar dips a little bit at that time. And I actually would go and get a cup of coffee. And it would help. So yeah, it's at that time when your body's just kind of blah, a little cup of coffee will help you go. Help you get going again. Number 9. Coffee was originally poured from the cup into the saucer, and it was drunk from the saucer. That's why you have a saucer under your coffee cup. It's not just to look cute. It actually did in the 1700s have, and actually, to be honest with you, I remember my mom telling me this. They would come down to breakfast in the morning, and they would pour their coffee into the saucer because it cooled more quickly that way. It was in a shallow, wide container. The air got to it more freely, and it cooled more easily, and they would drink it from the saucer. So yeah, that's why you have a saucer. So you could drink your coffee from it. I would not suggest you do that nowadays. People might look at you a little strangely, but it would be a good way to show off a little bit of trivia you have. All right. Number 10, caffeine from coffee fully kicks in after about 15 to 20 minutes, and it can last more than 8 hours. So, yeah, after you get your coffee in your system, after about 20 minutes, you should be feeling pretty good to go, and you will have caffeine in your system for about 8 to 10 hours. Okay, let's hope I can sleep tonight. Number 11, caffeine is the most widely used drug in the world. Even people who would say, I've never done drugs or I've never drunk alcohol or anything, would be hard-pressed to say that they've never had coffee. And if they've had coffee, they have had a drug, because caffeine it does have a chemical configuration just like any other drug, and it does have an effect on the body. Number 12. about 100 cups of coffee is a lethal dose. I don't know who would drink 100 cups of coffee. And by that, I just mean like one after the other, not like 100 over the space of a week or something. Good grief, I'll probably do that. Um, but yeah, 100 cups of coffee, just one after the other, is a lethal dose because, that's just way too much stimulation for your body. All right, number 13. The top 5 coffee drinking countries in the world are, and you'll be surprised who isn't on this list. Okay, top 5 coffee drinking countries are number 1, Finland, number 2, Norway, number 3, Iceland, number 4, Denmark, and number 5, the Netherlands. The United States is nowhere on that list. In fact, they're kind of way down the list. I don't remember what number they are, but I remember being surprised how far down the list I had to go to find them. But it really makes sense if you think about it, because the 5 countries I just named, they're not particularly temperate or, tropical countries. They're pretty cold. So, yeah, that tends to make sense. All right. Now, oddly enough, having given you that statistic, number 14's fact is America is the top coffee importer in the world. So you would think because we're the top importer that we would be the top drinker, but per capita that is just not true. So that's kind of wild. All right, number 15. The Revolutionary War and specifically, wow, I can't talk tonight. Specifically, the Boston Tea Party popularized coffee in the U.S. because if you think about it, tea was the big deal, the big hot drink before the Revolutionary War. After, or during rather, the Revolutionary War, it was considered kind of unpatriotic to drink tea that had been shipped in, from Great Britain. So they moved over to coffee. And Revolutionary War generals also noticed that when their troops drank coffee, they had more energy. So coffee just over the course of time replaced hot tea as the morning beverage, which I find very interesting. Now, I like hot tea, but I just never drink it in the morning. I always go for my cup of coffee. All right, number 16. Decaf is not caffeine free. It has 2 to 12 milligrams of caffeine in it per cup. Now, that's usually not enough to keep you awake or to send your heart into jitters or to make you, shaky or anything. But it's not caffeine free. Regular coffee has 95 to 200 milligrams of caffeine in it. So much more than what they call decaf. So if you do drink decaf, you're probably okay. It's probably not enough caffeine to keep you up all night. Now, to show you the difference between regular coffee and a can of soda, or, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, something that has caffeine in it, most colas have 23 to 35 milligrams of coffee. So really just, not a whole lot more than decaf, and nowhere near as much as a cup of coffee, which has, has 5 times that amount. All right, number 17. Black coffee has 1 calorie. The only reason coffee becomes problematic where calories are concerned is if you put creamer and sugar and shots of flavor in it and all kinds of stuff. I do put creamer and sweetener in my coffee because I'm not a heathen. So, I'm kidding. I say that because my husband drinks it black, and I have to give my husband a hard time because that is what wives do. All right, number 18. According to a survey, scientists and lab techs drink the most coffee. And something that I used to be, social workers are number 9 on that list. That is a lie. I'm going to tell you straight up, that is a lie. Social workers drink coffee like it's water. And we have to. Sometimes we're up all night. Sometimes we're chasing kids around that have run away. Sometimes we are waiting in court to be heard. And waiting in court is the most boring thing on the planet. So, yay, coffee. I know for a fact when I was a social worker, I drank easily a pot of coffee a day, if not more. So I'm going to call BS on that. I think social workers drink more than scientists and lab techs. I just really do. All right, number 19. Coffee, or rather the coffee grounds, make a great scrub. Scrub for your face, like a sugar scrub or a salt scrub, but it's a coffee scrub that appears to brighten and smooth skin. That is true. I have had a coffee scrub before. One of my good friends gave me a coffee scrub for Christmas. It's been several years ago, but it was great and it smelled fantastic. So it does work very well as a scrub. Um, Coffee grounds are also good for some plants because it makes the soil more acidic. I know that my Uncle Ray, who had the greenest thumb I've ever known in my life, he can make anything grow, used to take coffee grounds and put them around our rose bushes because he said the roses liked a more acidic soil. And I have heard of people doing that for a very long time. Seems like all my life I've heard that. All right, number 20. Coffee has more caffeine than most energy drinks. So, if you're drinking a Red Bull thinking that you're going to get this huge burst of caffeine, you will get caffeine, but you'd do just as well to drink a cup of coffee, and it would probably be considerably cheaper. All right, number 21. Do not store, and I know people who've done this, and I have actually done this before too, do not store your coffee in a freezer or a fridge. This is your beans or your ground coffee. Don't store them in the freezer or fridge because it absorbs moisture, which messes with the integrity of the bean, and it can also absorb smells. So if there are any smells in the fridge, they have little tiny holes in them, the beans do. And so they will absorb moisture and odor. So don't put them in the fridge. They're perfectly okay in a container, an airtight container. All right, number 22. Here is the calorie content of some popular Starbucks drinks. If this depresses you, I'm sorry. A cafe mocha with not a shot of anything else in it is 330 calories. Now, all these are grande size. So this is the middle size. A cafe latte with no other flavor shot in it is 190 calories. A peppermint mocha, which is one of my favorites around the holidays, sit down, 520 calories. If you're on a 1,500 calorie a day diet, there's a meal right there for you. You can have a peppermint mocha as one of your meals. All right, number 23. Coffee makes you poop. You've heard people say this all the time, but there are even coffee mugs with it on it. That is true. Coffee does make you poop because it is a stimulant. It makes everything in your body go a little bit faster, including your bowels. Number 24. Coffee does not cure a hangover. The thing that causes a hangover is dehydration in your body. Your body is dehydrated. It's not happy about it. So coffee actually dehydrates even more because it's a stimulant. And that just doesn't do anything for your hangover. The best thing for your hangover is water. Well, the best thing for a hangover is first not to have one, not to drink to excess. But second is if that does happen to you, drink a lot of water. In fact, start drinking it the night before you go to bed, and your hangover won't be as bad, or you may not have one at all. So, yeah, I had a health teacher when I was in high school that said, if you give a drunk coffee, all you have is an awake drunk. Words to live by. Also, if you put a drunk in the shower, all you have is a wet drunk. So, there you go. All right. Coffee does not cause insomnia. These are myths of coffee, I should say. 24 is myths of coffee. Number 1, doesn't cure a hangover. Number 2, does not cause insomnia if drunk at least 8 hours before bedtime because 75% of caffeine is out of your body by the time 8 hours has passed. So basically, if you went to bed at 11, you could have an afternoon cup of coffee and be okay. So it doesn't cause insomnia if it's drunk at a proper time. And let's see, coffee does not reduce stress. People who say they're really stressed, give me a cup of coffee, are just going to shake a little bit harder and not be de-stressed. I'm guilty of this. When I'm stressed, I do want a cup of coffee. I know that when I was working at the last job I worked at, which I was there for about 14 or 15 years, I had to do monthly reports. And when I was doing my monthly report, it was very stressful. I would just lock myself in my office with a cup of coffee. And probably wasn't helping myself at all. Probably was making myself more nervous. Okay. Number 25. Espresso, not espresso, but espresso. Espresso means pressed out in Italian. It's an Italian word. And it's made by finely grinding up coffee to a very, very fine point. and then forcing boiling water through it at a very high pressure. So it's literally pressed out and made at a very, very dense, made from a very dense grind. Let's see. Number 26. We're coming down the home stretch, kids. Number 26. Coffee contains riboflavin, magnesium, and potassium, leading some scientists to believe that in moderation, coffee has health benefits. You don't want to drink 15 cups of it a day, but if you do it in moderation, it can have some healthy benefits to it. Number 28 is probably my favorite fact on this entire video. Bach, as in Johann Sebastian Bach, wrote a song about coffee called Coffee Cantata. And it was about a daughter and a father arguing because the father said that the daughter drank too much coffee and that's why she didn't have a lover. Okay. I love Bach. I think he's a great composer. That was a little weird. Number 29. In Japan, there is a spa in which you can bathe in coffee. This is my dream come true. I would probably just go under water or under coffee, as the case may be, and just never come back up. No, there would have to be cream and sweetener in it for me to drink anything that was in it, and then that would just be sticky and gross. So, but yeah, I'm assuming that this is because of the aforementioned benefits to skin that coffee has. I'm guessing that's why they have you bathe in it. I don't know. Personally, I think it's better than mud. So I just can't understand people that just want to immerse themselves in mud. Number 30. Cream Puff the cat, who lived to be 38 years old, which is a record, drank coffee with cream mixed in it every day. So, I've already lived to be longer than 38, so I'm doing great. Now, I don't know what that is in human years. If you know what that is in human years, let me know down in comments, because that's interesting. So, those are the trivia facts on coffee. I cannot vouch for all of them. I found them in a variety of sources. A lot of them repeated each other, so I just put down the ones that repeated themselves a lot. And also the ones I just found really, really interesting, like the Bach Coffee Cantata one. I'm going to have to look this up and see if I can find words to it, because I can't. I just got to know that. I've got to know what the words are to that. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good night. If it's snowing where you are, I hope you're being careful and you're inside and safe and warm. It has snowed here a little bit today, but just kind of a dusting. Looks like somebody took a little powdered sugar shaker and just did it all over the lawn. But I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe. I will be back probably within the next 4 or 5 days or so with a video, show and tell of Bath and Body Works. So if that's your thing, then join me and we'll talk about Bath and Body Works. And the next one after that is going to be a little bit more serious one. It's going to be talking about my eating disorder, and I had a previous video about my eating disorder. I didn't really like the way that one turned out, and I didn't like the setup I had when I was filming. So I think I'm going to try to do a re-upload, well, just a redo completely of that. So that'll be coming in the next few weeks or so. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you later. Love you. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the content that you're seeing so far.